Good morning, friends. Welcome to another wonderful day in paradise. Here it is, about -7 this morning, which is far better than the -18. I don't know if it's better, but it's different. Certainly feels warmer. We've got some snow happening, and it's another lovely day in Fort McMurray. I am interested in how well art supports me. I've talked about how therapeutic it is for me to get into my repair shop and work on repairing some musical instruments, which I had a chance to do last night. It's wonderfully satisfying to take something not working and make it working. It's always good. It took me a while to get into it, but I've been watching a show on Disney Plus called WandaVision. Now that I'm on the penultimate episode of this series. The series makes much more sense, and I think I'm going to go back and rewatch some of the earlier stuff just to get caught up again. But last night's episode dealt with grief, and that's something I've been struggling with for a while. I was lucky enough not to experience a lot of death in my life early on. I can remember in 1987 being very upset that I was away at a summer camp when my great-grandfather, Cap Thompson, passed, and my parents didn't tell me about it. I remember when Great-Grandma Storch passed, I was away at a camp, and my parents didn't tell me about it until I got back. And those things were upsetting to me because I was just coming into the realization of the finality of death and my own mortality. I mean, that sounds odd. In I guess it would have been in 1987 and 1990. 1990, I think it was 89 or 90 that Grandma Storch died. So I mean, I would have been 15, 16 years old. And I felt like I didn't have a chance to process the grief that came along with that. I've since experienced what felt like death after death after death. You know, from the death of my dad's dad, Grandpa Meller, to my brother JB's death, to Grandma Eve, to Grandma Meller, to, you know, on and on and on. It feels like it's been, and the big ones, the two big ones for me in recent years were, you know, the death of my dad and the death of a couple of people who acted as my surrogate family when I moved to Fort McMurray, and that was the Fitzgeralds, Bill and Kathy. And talking about it now, I can still feel the grief very present, and the descriptions of the grief in WandaVision really hit home. You know, that it was wave after wave of sadness, that every time I thought it was done, another wave would break over me. And my dad passed in 2012, and I still find myself, you know, when I'm able to be out in public walking down the aisles of a Canadian Tire or Princess Auto and seeing something really cool and going, oh, I gotta call Dad and talk to him about that. And it feels like I've never processed my grief. Now, this sounds like a lot of sadness, and for me it is a lot of sadness, but the point being, turn off the news and watch some art. Go draw a picture or sing a song. You don't have to be the creator of it in terms of it being something that you originated. You can be the creator in that you are the one who is creating the art, doing the singing, doing the painting, doing the coloring, doing the drawing, whatever it is, dancing, acting, living out loud. Art is a reflection of who we are as individuals, and art can be both informative and therapeutic. So I encourage you to live your art, even if you don't think you're an artist. If your artistry is the ability to tear down an engine and put it back together and have it run better than it did before, then you are an artist in your own right. Everything, when practiced with a minutia of detail that internalizes the essence of your being, is art. It is an art. I mean, I can make food, but I'm not a sandwich artist. I'm not a chef. I'm not someone who expresses myself through my food. I create food for my comfort and my energy to keep me going. But I know people who express themselves through the creation of food, and they are artists in that respect. So live your art, express yourself, keep having those conversations, those ones about grief and loss and happiness and joy and all those things that make up who you are, because it is only through having those conversations that you will be able to deal with and process the essence of yourself for yourself. If you're having trouble in that regard, reach out to the Canadian Mental Health Association, in Alberta to Alberta Health Services and the Primary Care Network. Talk to your family doctor, talk to a family friend. There are lots of vehicles out there to help you process those things that you're having difficulty processing, and there is no shame in coming to it. My friend Jason Aylesworth posted on a recent video I shared that we would not shame someone for going to see a physiotherapist, and just the same, we should not shame people for going to see a psychologist or psychiatrist. It is a wound to your psyche and a wound to your soul, and sometimes those wounds require professional guidance so that you can continue to live a life of satisfaction, so that you can continue to live your life free of the encumbrance of that wound. Love to you all. I hope you are warm and happy and healthy where you are. Ask me about my mullet and go to the Raisley page, marchmullet.raisley.com/Scott-Meller. Donate where you can. Much peace and love to you all. I'll see you tomorrow.